Welcome back. It's the end of June. It's halfway point in 2025. In some ways, it's gone quickly, and in other ways, it's dragged on a little bit. I think it always feels slower for me because at this time of the year, in the Southern Hemisphere, we're hitting the middle of winter and things just slow down, spending a lot more time indoors and not a lot happening. Perfume-wise, June was a very, very interesting month. I finished quite a few samples, got a couple of new bottles. I'll show you those in a minute. And what I thought I'd do in this video is also give you an updated, I can't remember how many I've got here. I've got my 10 most worn bottles for 2025 so far at the midway point. I'm not sure how much that'll change between now and the end of the year, but who knows what could happen. And if I get new bottles or whatever and try new samples, I might wear something quite a bit and the list will change. So what I'll do first is go through the samples that I actually finished this month, and I've got about 5 of these empty sprayers in my hand. So the first one I finished this month was my decant of Coromandel from Chanel that I've had for quite some time, finally finished it. And the conclusion that I've come to with Coromandel is that I absolutely adore this smell. But like one of these other samples here, I think this is one of those perfumes, and I've been thinking about actually making a whole video dedicated to this topic. The fact that I can love a lot of perfumes, but my preference is that I would rather smell them on somebody else rather than be the wearer of those perfumes. So Coromandel is kind of in that category to me. Like I will never get sick of smelling it, but it's not something that I'm excited to wear myself. I don't, that might seem weird to some people, but it's definitely a thing for me. There are definitely, and it's not a matter of, me liking a feminine marketed fragrance and wanting to smell it on women. Like there are a bunch of fragrances that I've smelled on guys as well that I prefer smelling on them, and I've actually worn them in the past and not liked them on myself. So Coromandel is not something that I will, in the foreseeable future purchase, but I always love to smell it. Another one that fits into that very same category for me, I actually finished 3 Parfum d'Empire samples this month, and one of the ones that fits into the same category as Coromandel, I really like smelling it, but it's not something that I want to wear. That is Equestrius, and this one is kind of a purple floral, clean musk kind of thing. For fans of things like Musc de Sable by Les Indomptables, I think Equestrius is something that you might enjoy. And again, like that perfume, this is something I like smelling, just not love wearing. The other Parfum d'Empire samples that I finished, Eau Suave, look, to be honest, it's a jammy rose, and it's not a bad perfume, but I've just never been a big fan of jammy rose myself, definitely not to wear it. I think it's perfectly fine for what it is, but it's not really anything exciting to me. And the other one was Vetiver Bourbon. Now, I really like Vetiver Bourbon, but my issue with this fragrance is that the opening is lovely and, it's a good vetiver note. I must get nose blind to this after the first half an hour or so. I don't believe there's issues with performance, or at least I've never read anyone complaining about the performance, but whatever is in this, whatever it develops into as it dries down, I just can't smell it anymore. So it's kind of a loss for me. And the thing is, in this last month, I wore I'm just going to sidetrack here and talk a little bit about vetiver fragrances. I wore vetiver bourbon, and obviously that happened to me. And the very next day, I decided to wear my favorite vetiver, which is Guerlain. I thought I had it here with me, which is Guerlain vetiver, like the original great vetiver perfume. And that I can smell pretty much a whole day, like 8 hours at least. And it's not strong, but I can continuously smell it, and it's still my favorite vetiver perfume. And it just reminded me that I got a comment on one of my videos. I think it might have been my last top 10 video, or one of my top 10 favorite perfume videos. And the comment was simply, where are the vetivers? And it struck me that, I don't know, some people like just think that you have to have a particular scent profile in your favorite fragrances. Now, I will say here and now, I like vetiver. I don't love a lot of vetiver fragrances. I have one or two that really showcase it and highlight that note. But I found my favorites, and it's not like I'm on this. I don't love it enough to go and try every vetiver perfume. Now, I've done that with particular notes and accords. Like I did that with Immortelle. I'm kind of going through this with Iris at the moment. Obviously, ambers. Vetiver has never inspired me to want to try all the vetivers, because of all the vetivers that I've smelled, I haven't really been that impressed by all the different variations. And it seems like it's such an overpowering note when it's used in a dominant manner that it's either a vetiver or it's a different scent profile that uses vetiver in the base notes. So that is my vetiver rant for June. And the final sample that I did finish is the original CD Comme des Garçons Parfum. It looks like it's in this bottle. I was just kind of indifferent to it, to be honest. So I didn't dislike it. I also didn't like it. And it was a pretty sort of mid kind of incense fragrance to me. Well, it just not mid. I don't want to say mid because, people love perfumes. To me, it just didn't do anything for me. There was no excitement about it. I was keen to smell it, try it, and that was pretty much it. Now that I've spoken about the samples for June, what I'm going to do is actually there is one other thing. I did want to talk about highlights, in particular sample highlights, because I've had a couple of highlights, but of all the samples that I wore this month, once I wore it again, I suspected, look, I've worn this a couple of times. I might have mentioned it in previous videos that I've been enjoying it. And the last time I wore it, which was about a week ago, it actually really hit me that I love this fragrance. And it got added to my wish list. I've taken one off the wish list because I bought a bottle and just added another one. This one is from Ormond Jane. This is Nawab of Oud Intensivo. I got a sample of it in a packet of samples that a friend sent me. I knew nothing about it. I'm not going to try and describe it to you because obviously, it says oud in the title. I guess there's oud in there, but it's not about the oud for me. This is one of the creamiest, luxuriant fragrances that I've ever worn, and I'm insatiable for it when I'm wearing it. I just keep huffing my skin, and for that reason, it went onto my bottle wish list. But unfortunately for me, it is yet another really expensive full bottle. It seems like all the full bottles I have on my wish list at the moment are all over, luxury prices. So that made my wish list. I'm not in a rush to get it, although I'll see how I feel once I finish my sample. But that was a highlight for the month. Now, the other highlights for me are the fact that I did finally purchase one of the fragrances that was on my full bottle wish list. I didn't end up waiting to finish my sample only because I was... I guess it was a sign from the universe that I was scrolling the internet and I saw an ad for a sale from one of my local perfume online retailers, and they had Asiade on sale, and I snapped it up as quickly as I could, and I'm so glad I have it now. That's 4 Parfum d'Empire bottles that I own. This one's a bit special for me because a very good friend of mine wanted to rehome a fragrance that they didn't love, and they knew that I did love, and it came at a good time because, I've had a bit of an up and down month this month, and this arrived and just made my whole month. The old style Seville à l'aube lattice and parfumeur. So now I have this newer version, which is the version that, I've fallen in love with, and now I can do a comparison. I have to say, the day that this arrived in the mail, I did spray some on, and yeah, it smelled the same as this, but I don't know. I've got to do a side-by-side. It will be interesting because there was something, I don't know if there is something about older bottles. Yes, people believe that the older the juice is in the bottle, the longer it's matured. It just felt like this had a bit more depth to this one. I'm not sure about whether there was reformulation between this bottle and that bottle, but we'll see. I mean, I love this. This is what I fell in love with, and I'm super, super rapt to now have this bottle. And I have Seville à l'aube for life, basically, because I'd be really surprised if I drain those 2 bottles before my time is up. Now, for the part of the video where I will tell you my most worn fragrances for 2025 at the midway point of the year, there are 3 fragrances that I wore. Basically, I've got 10 fragrances here. I have 3 that I've worn 5 times this year. So I haven't even worn my most worn fragrances more than once a month, because a lot of my fragrances, probably have to wait 2 or 3 months between wears. But they are Dior Homme Intense, Celine Nut Clubbing, and Chanel Egoist. And then these other fragrances here, I have worn about 4 times each, and I'll go through them very quickly. Habit Rouge Eau de Toilette, which happens to be my scent of the day today. Equipage Geranium, which I wore twice just this last month. Lagerfeld Classic, I love it in winter. Seville à l'aube, I've worn 4 times this year. Dior's Fahrenheit. Asiade, which, you know, my sample was getting well used. And surprisingly, one fragrance also made my most worn list, which I don't have a bottle of. This is from Laboratorio Olfattivo. This is Vanagloria. It is a lovely fragrance. I was actually surprised when I saw my scent of the day logs and noticed that this was one of my most worn samples. I don't love it enough to want a bottle, but it is a vanilla-based fragrance. It seems to be compared to YSL's Baby Cat a lot. So if you're interested in that and you like Baby Cat, might be worth a smell. I'll probably do a review of it. I've still got some of it left. But that was my June and a little bit of my first 6 months of 2025. I'm feeling better now that winter solstice has gone past, and I know the days are going to get gradually longer. And for all of you watching in the Northern Hemisphere, the opposite's going to happen. But I'll stop talking now and let you go because this video's gone long enough, and I'll see you next time I'm on YouTube. Bye for now.